Class 5, Term 1, Chapter 1 The Guest of Honor. The lesson, The Guest of Honor, is a humorous account of Mullah Nasruddin's arrival and interaction at a banquet. The guest of honor means the most important guest at an event. Mullah Nasruddin was a wise man who lived in 13th century Turkey. He is considered a philosopher, wise man, and is remembered for his funny moral stories. He appears in thousands of stories that are known throughout the Middle East. The story, The Guest of Honor, is in the form of a dialogue among various characters. It is a funny story with a moral. Here goes the story. One day, Mullah Nasruddin received an invitation to an important banquet. The wealthiest man in the town had invited many people to his home for a grand formal dinner. Mullah Nasruddin also received the invitation to that grand formal dinner, and he was the guest of honor. He read the invitation and decided to go to the banquet. On the day of the banquet, Mullah Nasruddin walked to the wealthy man's home. He reached the banquet hall. All the people who came to the banquet wore fancy and costly clothes, but Mullah Nasruddin came in ordinary clothes instead of fancy clothes. The guards guarding the wealthy man's home stopped Mullah Nasruddin at the gate. Since Mullah Nasruddin was wearing ordinary clothes, the guards couldn't identify him. They didn't allow Mullah Nasruddin to go inside. Mullah Nasruddin tried to convince the guards by telling that he was the guest of honor. But the guards made fun of him and asked him to leave. Mullah Nasruddin became so sad and returned. While returning, Nasruddin came across the home of a wealthy friend. He knocked on the door and his friend welcomed him. Mullah Nasruddin asked his friend for the new robe that his friend showed him the previous year. His friend was so happy to give Nasruddin the new costly robe. Wearing the costly fancy robe, Mullah Nasruddin went back to the banquet hall. And this time the guards, seeing Mullah Nasruddin wearing costly robe, allowed him to enter the banquet hall. The host of the banquet welcomed Nasruddin with a huge smile. He greeted Nasruddin and introduced him as a guest of honor to all other guests. The host asked Nasruddin to have some hot and delicious soup. Nasruddin sat down quietly. He picked up his spoon and began pouring spoonful of soup on his attractive and beautiful robe. Soon, everyone in the room was staring at Nasruddin, wondering what he was doing. The host was also surprised and asked Nasruddin what he was doing and why he was feeding the robe in that manner. The reply given by Nasruddin was shocking. He said that he was feeding the guest of honor. And according to Nasruddin, the guest of honor was his robe, not him. He was allowed to come in for this party because he was wearing the costly robe. So it was not him that was welcome at the party, but his clothing. As Mullah Nasruddin told the entire story, the host understood the mistake made by his guards. The host called the guards and asked them to apologize to Mullah Nasruddin. The guards came and told that they were extremely sorry for what they have done. And they said that they have learned an important lesson. That is, to know the true worth of a man, one needs to look beyond his clothes. No one can judge a person by his appearance. The guards first judged Mullah Nasruddin as a poor man because he was wearing ordinary clothes. But that was a mistake. So, to know the true worth of a man, one needs to look beyond his clothes. You should not judge a person by his appearance.